Time to talk all things technology. Brian Marshall of VNet's joining us now, and today we're talking about cybersecurity as we ramp up to the election. How does that play into everything that we're thinking and talking about right now?
Right, so we talked last time about that, the cybersecurity infrastructure security agency, right? They put out all these things for us to do year after year after year. It was, Cybersecurity Month. Well, that same group is in charge of making sure our elections stay safe. So they've put out a bunch of guidelines for election officials, et cetera. But I thought what we'd talk about today is sort of in Erie County, how we keep our stuff safe.
Okay.
And it's weird because I remember as a kid going in and clicking the little buttons and pulling the lever, right? That was very low technology, right? We just clicked the thing and it was all done. Then we went to high technology where everything was on a screen.
Right.
And that kind of played into what I thought, like,
should
hey,
happen.
This makes a lot of sense. And then they took that away and they brought the paper back. And I thought, well, what is going on
here? And now we
well,
complain about the paper.
Yeah, so, but why did they do that? Well, they did that because that gives us a paper record of what's going on. So I do think, it's my opinion, that we kind of have the best of both worlds now, right? We've got that machine that counts the votes as we pull them in there. But it's not a paper shredder, right? It's actually counting them and dropping them inside.
Yeah.
So somebody can go back in and recount what we've done. So we have this paper trail of what's happening.
Yes.
And I think it makes us feel secure in the fact that I've got this ballot, I've put my things on it, I've stuck it in the machine, and it's been counted. And if for some reason the counter were to be off, somebody could go back and recount, and there's actually a record of what I did.
For checks and balances. I see a lot of people on social media where there was a story about the ballot boxes set on fire out west. People were saying, why can't we can do everything else online? We bank online, we buy online. Why can't we vote online? That makes me feel nervous, but talk a little bit about that.
So, I mean, we're really good at cybersecurity, but the bad guys are really good too.
I know.
And I feel like, I can't say we will never get to that place, but how can you be sure that paper sureness is really a thing? And the young person in me, gray hair notwithstanding, right, goes back to we should be able to do that. The realist in me says, boy, I really like having that thing that says this is exactly what happened on the other side. So I think that's why we're not to that place. It would be too easy for somebody to impersonate somebody. I mean, they get control of your computer, they can control of your phone. Next thing you know, they're voting for you, and we definitely don't want that.
So today you have a choice. I think in most polling places, you can either do your ballot on paper or you can do it at the screens. I know in my polling place, I usually have the choice. Do you recommend just doing the paper?
That's what I'm going to do.
That's what you're going to do.
That's what I'm going to do.
And I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I think those machines are very safe. I think that everything is there. But to me, it just makes sense. I know that this has been counted. I know that they could go back and recount. There is no chance that my vote did not count. And if I spent all that time waiting in line, I can take the extra 15 seconds to fill out the piece of paper.
To do that, yeah. It is good to have the double checking and the checks and balances, as I said, going forward.
Yeah.
Any other talk about security involving election?
Yeah, so there was a lot of talk about, the website going down or things happening like before the elections. We need to understand that when vulnerabilities happen or something gets announced that there's a vulnerability, that doesn't mean something was exploited. It means that we've discovered something. The organization puts a lockdown around the outside of it until we can make sure that it hasn't been exploited and it gets tidied back up. There's a lot of artificial intelligence and sort of machine learning and things that go into checking on these elections after the fact. It's not just people. It's not, remember the guy?
Right,
yes. It's not just that. There's a lot of things that they're doing in the background to count, double count, triple check. It's kind of cool to see the back inner workings of that. There's a lot going on there. So, I mean, we got to have some level of trust in the people that we have there. My biggest recommendation is when you go to your polling place, talk to the people behind that desk. They're filling out the book with you. They've been trained on how all of these different systems work, and they can explain to you how your vote's going to count.
Yeah, so if you feel a little uncertain, just ask and have that conversation when you're there to vote. Brian, thanks for stopping in.
Thanks.
1 week to go, right?
I'm so looking forward to no more text messages.
1 week to go. I know, me too. Coming up, what's the